And we are joined on the telephone by Leonard Doyle, who is the head of media and communication, International Organization for Migration, Geneva. If you can hear me, Mr. Doyle, good evening, and thank you for agreeing to speak to us.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Right, Mr. Doyle. People blame U.S. international policy as having created bodies like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and so on. And so for Donald Trump to turn around and blame them for radicalism, they think it's not right. What is your view on that?
Well, it's every country's right to look to its security, and it's every country's right during a change of administration to have a reset and to look at what the policies should be or should not be. So on that front, you know, they're certainly within their rights, although we find it a little bit, dramatic, to say the least. And we're really concerned for the welfare and fate of many of those who are already in the pipeline waiting to go to the United States. We're about 20,000 of them.
So what do you make of protests in America by some U.S. citizens against the policies of Donald Trump, especially against this travel ban?
I mean, that's not really for us to comment, but the fact is that the United States, you know, is a democracy, and protest is part and parcel of being a democracy. I think it's a recognition that not everybody's happy with it, but there's different ways of making your points of view heard, and it's not probably our way, but certainly people are free to do that.
Do you think some international countries, like European countries, should be worried about this new direction by Donald Trump, especially Germany?
Well, I think European countries should be stepping forward to take more refugees, because at the end of the day, the United States is by far and away the most generous in this department, and to some extent, the Americans might have a point if they say, well, let's see other countries doing more. In the last couple of decades, we've seen Asia resurgent with plenty of economic growth and plenty of capacity. It's surprising that we don't see more countries there offering resettlement places. I mean, frankly, that's what it's all about. And if there's one strong point in all of the arguments, it's that, you know, one country can't do it all.
Mr. Doyle, finally, how would you want Trump to have tackled this Islamist terrorists attacking America and some other countries, if you disagree with Donald Trump, for example?
I mean, all we can say really is that we've worked with various U.S. administrations over the decades, and there's an ebb and flow. After 9/11 attacks, there was a halt to resettlement for a while. And we really fervently hope that they will reopen the doors to the resettlement cases, because the United States, as many people recognize, has been a beacon of hope for a lot of people who've been in very poor situations and very vulnerable and need to get out of the difficult situation that they're in. And that's typically been a bipartisan policy in the U.S., and let's hope that it returns. Right.
Mr. Doyle, we are grateful for your time. Leonard Doyle is the head of media and communication, and he works for the International Organization for Migration in Geneva, Switzerland.